All right, man, what's next on the pull list to review is going to be Vampirella issue number 3, legacy run of 678 right here. So let's see whose blood's on Vampirella's hands this time. All right, the story is going to start off with Surreal, Vampirella's son from the future. He travels 50 years back in time to give a warning of the Witch of Ashthrone, which is Vampirella in the future, where she takes out all of the evil here on Earth. And the doctor's like, wait, what are you saying? How am I supposed to help? He says that you need the help because she is going to take over all the AI. He's like, AI, what do you mean? He's like, that thing that you're holding right there, your phone, she's going to be able to take control over all the AI and drop nuclear bombs to kill all the vampires and all the evil people in the world. Well, how did it come to this? Well, Vampirella, one day Lilith shows up to see the baby and she's like, oh my God, what'd you do? You had a baby? She says, Jesus, mother, I was married. We had a ceremony. And she's like, man, why is he so fussy? Have you not given him any blood? And she says, he's human. She says, only half human. As Lilith picks up baby Surreal, he stops crying and Vampirella gets so pissed off and jealous, like, why is he so calm with her? I need to get away. And as she jumps out of the apartment she's in and uses her 18 feet bat wings to fly to the airport, and then uses all of her rent money to fly around the continent, where she ends up in Las Vegas, and she is disgusted by humanity, let alone the vampires there in the airport, and she can smell their stinking, rotting flesh, and she says, I'm not here for you, vampire, leave me alone. But the vampires think that she is invading their hunting grounds, and as the vampire pulls out a knife to try to protect his hunting grounds, Vampirella says, human flesh tastes like chicken. Rotten, burning vampire flesh tastes like an unwashed vagina. Speaking of which, how did he get that knife into the PSA? And as the vampire jumps on Vampirella holding the knife above his head, she grabs his neck and kisses him, and he disintegrates and blood goes everywhere. And then a security guard says, are you okay, ma'am? And helps Vampirella up. She says, oh, Jesus, I just bought these clothes. Now there's blood all over them. And so now Surreal is telling Doctor, you gotta help my mother, Vampirella. She is depressed because this is what happens 10 years later after the airport incident. The Sacred Six shows up, and it's gonna be Pantha, Nyx, Chastity, Katie the Vampirellette, Victory, Lilith, and Vampirella. Vampirella's anger has been building for years, and now Lilith by her side is engineering Vampirella's fight against evil. They are saying that there is vampires everywhere, and they all got to die. And not only all the vampires on Earth, but all the evil people on Earth have to go too. And Chastity is getting pretty pissed off because she says not all vampires are evil. And the only reason why she's half vampire is because a vampire came and slaughtered her whole family. And in that fight, she got nicked but got away. And that's why she became half vampire. And then Chastity looks at Vampirella and says, each week you go crazier and crazier, looking for more evil people to destroy. And she says, you need to chill out. You want to smoke? And Vampirella looks at Chastity. You better watch out because this is your last warning. And now the Sacred Six returns home. And now the Sacred Six returns to their own individual homes after the battle. Before that, they had Surreal, Matthew, with them, and in this time, he is probably 8 years old. As Pantha finds him, she's this Pantha, and she transforms herself into a beautiful woman, but she hardly speaks. As Vampirella finds them both in the woods and says, Surreal, it's time to go home. And as they go home, Lilith takes care of old Surreal, and then you see Katie, the vampireless, she freaking goes over to Chastity's house and the door is half open and she walks into her bedroom and there's gunshots all over the wall and Chastity is laying there on the ground next to her bed, dead with blood coming from her forehead from a bullet shot. And she says, "Oh my God, Vampirella, what have you done?" The end of chapter 3. Okay, man, my final thoughts on Vampirella issue number 3 and my ranking. Man, I thought it was good. The issue number 2 really fell off for me. I gave it a total of a 5. But this one with the art is great. I love it. I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10. But the letterist was a little bit kind of hard to read, but the art was great by Ergun Gunyans. Okay, and now the story, man, it was a 5. It jumped all the way up to an 8. It went up 3 different points right there, because this issue, the story definitely picked up. It was way better than issue number 2. I love the Sacred Six showing up and where they're going to go with that. But in this story, what they're doing is they're making Vampirella the villain in this one. That is absolutely crazy. So are we going to be able, as a reader, to, fall in love with the villain? Or are we going to be against Vampirella by the time this story ends? There's only one way to find out, is to keep reading this volume. All right, man, I hope you guys enjoyed that quick review of Vampirella number 3, Legacy 678. All right, man, I want you guys to remember one thing. Hit the like button if you like the video. Subscribe only if you want to. And you keep it haunted. Comics. Laters.